U.S. Congress is made of House of Representatives and Senate, and in the House of Representatives, 435 elected members divided among the 50 states in proportion to their total population. And there are 6 non-voting members representing the District of Columbia, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, and the 4 other territories of the United States. And in the Senate, there's 100 senators and 2 for each of the 50 states. So totally, it's about 535 electoral votes. This is why you watch the presidential election, each state has different numbers of electoral votes. For example, Texas have 38 or 39, I cannot remember clearly, and California is 55, and some of the states have 3 votes or 6 votes. It's because the U.S. Congress have this structure. And there's 2 types of governments. One is unlimited government, and the other is limited. The unlimited means that the government has unlimited power, and it's called authoritarian government. And the other government, like the pure democracy or representative democracy government, and they give power, large portion of the power to the public to decide the policies. And the democratic system is a form of government in which the public plays a significant role. So the limited government means the government has limited power, okay? And the majority of the power is in the public. And some countries, such as United States, Canada, India, have federal governing system. This means the states or provinces have powers independent of the central government. And the countries such as China have unitary governing system, which means the government has most of the power. They decide the central policy. And for example, in China has authoritarian governments. China just uses the mandates to address environmental improvements. For example, just order certain part of the company go for renewable energy development, or just make the mandates like the vehicles with last digit odd or even number, they can only get on the road on the even or odd number days of the month. That's kind of control the traffic flow and the greenhouse gas emission. And because United States give the public more involvement and more opportunities in policy making, and the changes can be really slow, sometimes can take a very long time. For example, early 2000, Republican administration of President Bush declined to regulate greenhouse gases, and Obama administration determined to address climate change through the development of the Clean Power Plan. And when Donald Trump became the president, and he does not like this idea, so he gradually shifted back the policies Obama administration made. So we are going backwards in history. How do elections shape government? Some of the countries have green parties. They have quite an amount of power. In the United States, no Green Party candidates have received enough votes to beat the other candidates in our winner-take-all system. So the election system in the government, most democracy employ single-member district plurality system or proportional representation system. In Germany, you can see the Green Party has some seats, but this does not happen in the United States. And so I'm going to use example to illustrate what is SMDP system and what is a PR system. For example, a small town of 100 people is voting to elect representatives to the government, and the result is like this. So Tim Johnson have 50, Katie Reese have 30, the Democratic representative Ayla has 20. If this town only send a team to the government, this system is ASMDP system, okay, the single member district plurality system. If with the same voting results, okay, the town sent 10 representatives to the government, of whom 5 from the Green Party and 3 from the Republican Party and 2 from the Democratic Party. Then this voting system is a proportional representation system. Okay. So United States has 2 parties, Republican and Democratic parties. So what is political parties? Those are organizations that attempt to influence government by working to get their members elected to government offices. That's the definition of political party. Now, we know all the basic concepts, okay, and we know United States is a democratic country, and so now we start to discuss how the environmental policy is made, and the people can have strong influence in this decision-making process. The interest groups, which are the groups formed by people and organizations with shared interests in order to influence government, often develop to increase power. The power means the capacity of individuals and groups to make their concerns or interests count in the decision-making process. And the lobbying is a practice in which groups or individuals attempt to persuade a government decision maker. So people do have power. Okay? And one example is politics and Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. Before 1960, and this part of the land in Alaska, this belongs to biome of tundra, okay, were owned by the federal government. And in 1960, the Department of Interior set aside this area as national interest lands for, among other things, wildlife refuge, with which resulting questions regarding what type policies would be used for protection. And the lobbying began. There's 2 parts. There's 2 sides. One is wilderness conservation groups, and the other is for developing oil and gas resources in the area. So the 2 kind of clashed together. And in 1980, this case was got attention by the U.S. Congress. Okay, so they try to make laws to decide which extent we can explore this area and how, and to which extent this area is protected. And the House and the Senate, remember we just studied those concepts, the House and the Senate took opposing bills. So they fight with each other, they cannot agree with each other. So we do not have a majority of the opinions, or this is a problem. So the House of the Representatives favored wilderness designation for the area. They think this area should be protected, and the Senate favored more exploration of oil and gas development. So within the Congress, we have split opinions. So the Congress and President Jimmy Carter signed a compromise measure called the Alaska National Interest Lands Conservation Act. So it sort of add this area to the wildlife refuge systems, but it does not have details how this area will be protected. So this is where the fight began. And we know passage of a law is a very complicated process. You have to propose the bill, get your supporters, and refer to a committee. And you have to go to the hearings. And if the full committee says no, and you have to go back to the committee and revise and go over this loop again. If it was passed, it has to go through the floor debate. Okay, and the floor debate in House and the Senate with amendments, and if it's passed, you give to the president to sign. If the president say no, you have to vote again in the Congress. If 2/3 of the majority approve this policy, it still bypass president. Okay, so it overrides the vetoing of the president. It still becomes a policy. So because of this loop, you can see we have split opinions within the Congress. That's why nothing solid have formed yet for this wildlife refuge. So in 2015, it looks like this part of land were going to be managed as wilderness. But when the Trump administration support the opening of this area to oil and gas exploration development, so it becomes a question mark, like is this area going to be explored by the oil and gas companies, or it's going to be protected? And this fight is still going on. We'll see what Joe Biden is going to do about it.